August Wilson is considered one of the great playwrights of recent American theater. One of his works, How I Learned What I Learned, is now being presented at Portland Stage Company. And with us here on 207 is Lancey Nichols, the actor, the only actor in that production. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on the show.
Appreciate you being here. Well, let's start with a little biography for people who aren't familiar in particular with this playwright, August Wilson. Who was he?
August Wilson is considered the quintessential 21st century African-American playwright. He wrote a series of 10 plays. They call them the Pittsburgh 10-cycle plays, which chronicle the African-American experience in America from 1900 up until 2000.
And this work, How I Learned What I Learned, is really an autobiographical play that he first performed in, correct?
Correct. August first did this play, I believe, in 2003. And since that time, there have been maybe 2 or 3 other actors who've done it. But it's interesting because this is one of his least known plays compared to, say, like Fences, Piano Lessons, and Ma Rainey Black Bottom. But it's a wonderful piece of writing.
He had other works that won Tony Awards that were turned into movies and so forth. And so a lot of people are familiar with those works, and they're not so familiar with this. The title is interesting, How I Learned What I Learned, because August Wilson dropped out of school, didn't he?
He dropped out of school at age 15. At the time that he was in school, he was going to a Catholic school in Pittsburgh and experiencing a lot of bigotry and racism. He dropped out of school at 15 and started going to the library. Unbeknownst to his mother, she thought he was going to school every day. And he started to educate himself in the library just by reading books.
So what he learned was really self-taught, which is a
self-taught.
Fascinating story for someone who went on to become so gifted with words, such a marvelous storyteller. It came from what he absorbed in the library.
In the library and the experiences in his neighborhood, and and talking to different people and congregating with the elderly guys. So yeah, he was self-taught.
You've been an actor, Lance, for 40 some odd years, right?
Correct.
You've worked in theater, you've worked in movies, you've worked in television, so you've done it all. How many one-man plays, which this is, have you done?
1. This is my first. And let me tell you, it has been challenging because it's just you out there, but you have to learn how to pace yourself. I will say, having done some of August's work has been beneficial to me because I understand the rhythm of his language and the style and everything. But yeah, this is new.
It's got to be different, though. You've done his other plays, and so you're familiar with, as you say, the cadence of the language, the rhythms of it, and so forth. But in all those other plays, you had other performers, other actors whom you were working with.
Exactly. It's just me, myself, and I in this one. But that's what's exciting about it. I get to tell this man's story, and all I have to do is speak his words.
When you've got as much experience as an actor as you have, there can't be too many roles that really do take you out of your comfort zone. Doing a one-man play, has that nudged you out of your comfort zone a bit?
I'd be lying if I said it did not. Yes, it has. But that's good because I think as artists, we should always be challenged. And I always want to be challenged. And it's so interesting that you should say that to me because prior to coming up here to do this show, I felt like in terms of the opportunities in film and television, I was getting rather bored with those. And I remember saying, man, I really would like a challenge. And they say, be careful what you ask for. And I got it. But I'm excited about it, and I really would like for people to come out and see this show.
What for you has been the biggest challenge as you put this play together?
Well, August was very poetic in his language. And in this play, even more so in some of his other plays, there's a lot of poetry. And so in ways that people normally just don't speak. And so that has been the biggest challenge for me. Is getting the poetic language of August down. But I think I'm doing a really good job.
Have fun outside of your comfort zone.
All right.
Break a leg.
Yeah. Look, I asked for it, so I'm not running away. Let's do it.
Lancey Nichols, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Portland Stage Company presenting August Wilson's How I Learned What I Learned through March 19th. You'll find more information on the live shows and the online shows, ticket prices, everything else, all in the 207 section of our New Center Maine website or app. Quick break, and we'll be back right after this.